So today we went out in the woods, wherever our favorite trees are. We collected the scion wood off of them using the pole pruners, clippers, whatever means necessary to get up there in the tree and get them out. We cut them into small enough pieces to fit into these quart-size Ziploc bags. Freezer bags, I use one bag. If I'm using storage type bags, I usually double them up in a bigger bag. Make sure they're labeled, rubber banded, tied up nicely, and then all you've got to do is put them in the crisper box. Some people say to add the moist paper towel. I usually do. The key, if you do that, is you need to check them for mold occasionally or make sure they're not too wet. If they're too wet, you can just kind of open the bag in the fridge and let them air out for a day or two and then close it back up. But that's it. I'm going to put them in the crisper box until grafting day. Okay, so we're out here. This is our first day of grafting this spring. It's middle April. We've shown you already how to collect the scions out of your favorite tree that produces a lot of fruit. Okay, so now the bark is slipping, the buds are breaking, leaves are coming out, and it's time to start grafting. So we're going to do the most simple graft, and it's the one that I use the most often. It's called the bark graft. Really all you need is some kind of saw to cut the tree off, like that. You need a grafting knife. Some people use just a basic knife. I've got a Swiss Army grafting knife. Here's a regular knife. You're not making a whole lot of precise cuts, so it's not that big of a deal to get all fancy. Some people use these retractable, box cutter type knives. No big deal. The tape you use to tie the graft off, I use simple flagging tape. I also use grafting tape. People also use this to stake a tree. You tie it around the tree in a stake to hold it upright. You use some type of sealant to seal the graft off. I'm going to experiment with this caulk. I've been using a type of wood glue that they don't make anymore, so I've got to find something else. Some people use toilet bowl wax. Some people use that asphalt type pruning sealer, that black stuff. Lots of things work. The key is, you want to seal the moisture off. You don't want it to dry off. Okay, like I said earlier, this tree has sprung out for the year. The sap is flowing, the buds are starting to get bigger and become leaves. That's real important. So you start with your dormant scions. I hate that word. You start with your dormant scions you got out of the fridge, and they're still dormant. This is not dormant anymore. It's starting to grow. That's important. All right, now we're just going to cut this thing off. So this is your root stock. This is a bark graft again. You just make a straight up and down cut. You're not really cutting, you're just pushing it into the bark. You're not doing any slicing. And then you use your knife to kind of pry the bark back. You'll kind of hear it pop, and you're separating the bark from the wood. Inside here is called the cambium layer. That's the most important. You want the cambium of your rootstock to touch the cambium of your scions. We're going to just make a long V cut. So we're going to have a cut on this side and a cut on the exact opposite side. And you cut it down pretty thin. If you mess up, it's fine. You can just make your scion a little bit shorter. It really doesn't have to be perfect for bark grafting. Okay, that's good enough. All right, we're going to slide this in. Use my knife to pry it back open. Okay. There's people that can do that a lot better than me, but works just fine. I'm going to make another cut and put another scion in. Okay, you see how that's peeled back? It just pops off easily because the bark is slipping. Alright, this bud right here is kind of in the way. I want to make a bigger cut, so I'm just going to take that off. There's people out there that are way better at this than me that can just make one cut there and one cut there and it's perfect. The key point is it really doesn't matter. It's this easy, okay? Need my knife again. Okay, so I'm going to pry that open and slide my scion in. Okay, so what you've got here is cambium of your rootstock, now touching cambium on two sides of your scion. We need to wrap this guy up now. I'm going to use some simple flagging tape that you can get at the co-op. All you do to get it started is you wrap it around and overlap it, and eventually it'll catch. Get it really tight, especially up top where your scions are. And then you just do a simple half hitch to tie it off. You can kind of do your hand like that to get it good and tight, and then you're good. You can use an exterior type, waterproof wood glue. Unfortunately, they don't make this one anymore, but if you can find it, grab it. Make sure you've got it really good around each of your scions so no air can get into that crack, that cut. And you're good to go. Some people will wrap aluminum foil around this to keep the sun off, do all kinds of crazy things. I've never noticed it any difference. Like I said, I get 90–95% success. This is my third year of doing it. It's this easy. It normally doesn't require all of that. And that's it. Let's go to the next tree.